Good morning. All I can smell is apple, caramel apple. I know we just did the coffee bar at home and you guys were probably expecting me to come on here with a little coffee bar montage, weren't you? Well, I have not had a pumpkin cream cold brew yet this year. I don't remember the cold foam being so orange. But I got 4 Starbucks fall drinks. I healthified them, if you will. I don't like when my coffee is super sweet. I did some alterations to these drinks for how I personally would actually order them. Let's start with my kind of like classic that I get a lot of the time in the fall. You guys have definitely seen me have this before. So you should get a grande Americano with 1 pump of pumpkin, and that's that. That's the most basic fall drink that I like because I like just like a hint of pumpkin in my coffee. I typically drink my coffee black, so I don't like when there's a lot of extra things in it. Or I'll do an Americano misto, which this is, or I'll do like an Americano with 1 pump of pumpkin, dash of some sort of milk. But this one, Americano misto, tall with soy milk, and I got light foam. So what an Americano misto is it's usually half. So it's espresso, then they fill it half with hot water, then they top it with foamed milk. But because I said light foamed milk, they would have filled it maybe 3/4 with water with a little bit of milk on top because I don't like when my coffee is super milky. Then I got 1 pump pumpkin sauce and I got extra pumpkin spice topping. I don't know why I didn't think about adding pumpkin spice topping onto all of my fall drinks all the time. Why have I not been doing this? I looked it up because I was like, is there sugar in this? Like, is this adding extra things like sweetness that I don't want? And there's no sugar. It's nutmeg, cinnamon, cloves, and ginger. This is my version of a pumpkin spice latte. I don't like normal pumpkin spice lattes, honestly. And yeah, just the 1 pump pumpkin, that is all you need, and definitely get extra pumpkin spice topping. Let's try the pumpkin cream cold brew, and I'll tell you how I altered her. I'm so excited, this is my first one of the year. All the pumpkin spices in the bottom. I don't have anything to mix it with, so we're just gonna have to deal with it. This is the pumpkin cream cold brew. I got a tall, and I got light pumpkin cream cold foam, light ice, extra pumpkin spice topping, and no vanilla syrup. So usually pumpkin cream cold brews have vanilla syrup. I find you don't need it because the topping is already sweet enough. It's so good, and I bet it would be better if I could mix up this pumpkin. Like, look how much pumpkin's on the bottom. So this is the iced pumpkin cream chai tea latte, which is a brand new drink this year. This is not coffee, it is chai tea, and this looks like a cup of milk. Tall, light pumpkin cream cold foam, light ice, soy beverage, so I guess they must fill the rest. It's literally just a cup of soy milk. I'm just realizing what a chai tea what iced chai is. This is just sugar and milk. Is there any tea actually in this? I didn't even finish saying what it was, but it's basically 1 pump chai, so it's usually 3 pumps, I think. I just got 1 pump. Then they fill it with soy milk, light ice, and then top it with light pumpkin cream cold foam. I am not going to like this. I mean, it's gonna take, this is dessert. I would not consider this a morning drink that you can get. There's not even coffee or tea in it. It's just syrups and milk. I don't like that at all. The foam is so good. I'm gonna eat this cold foam. Actually, I'm gonna take this cold foam out and put it on my other drink because the foam is delicious, but like, it doesn't really taste like fall to me either. I don't know. I don't really like chai that much. I just wanted to get that one because it has the longest, stupidest name. Iced pumpkin cream chai tea latte. This is what I've been smelling the whole time. It smells so good. So this is the apple crisp oat macchiato. Light spiced apple drizzle. So they must put like a drizzle on top. So I got light version of that. And then I only got the 1 pump of the apple brown sugar. This kind of tastes like apple cider. And I'm not mad about it. It's kind of good. It's kind of like cozy and warm. I'd be interested to try this as an Americano misto and maybe without the drizzle and just try it with the apple brown sugar syrup and see how strong just the syrup by itself is. And I wonder if I also put pumpkin topping on it too. Okay, hold on. I'm writing this down. Next time, wait, this is kind of good. It's like a little dessert coffee. My favorite is this guy, which is the Americano misto with pumpkin. I don't want to call it healthier version of a pumpkin spice latte. My light pumpkin spice latte. Let's just call it that. This is Gabby's light pumpkin spice latte. Imagine you could just go up and order it like that. That would be so cool. Start tagging me in your stories if you get this and call it Gabby's light pumpkin spice latte. my God. It's so good. I live for the cold foam. I'm just gonna sit here drinking all my coffees. That's my review. Honestly, I couldn't stop thinking about the apple one. I was driving and I had put all the, like this thing on the floor so I couldn't reach the drinks because I put my pumpkin one beside me because I was like, oh, obviously this is the one I want to drink. But I kept craving the apple one. Like, it's actually really good. It really tastes like apple cider. I'm also supposed to be getting my period. I don't know if it's just like making me crave sweet things. It usually does. But I'm also 3 days late for my period. So that's good. Why do I like this apple one so much? From the chai, I just keep eating the cold foam. The cold foam to me tastes like a pumpkin cinnamon bun. I am all over the place right now. I have a book haul, and honestly, it's very fall themed. I just went to Indigo this weekend, plus I ordered one on Amazon. Let's start with the one I got from Amazon. Fall of Ruin and Wrath. This is by one of my favorite authors ever, Jennifer Armentrout. She wrote this series From Blood and Ash, which I didn't like that much. Not gonna lie, I thought the characters were insufferable. But her series, Flesh and Fire, I've talked about it so many times. Flesh and Fire series is the reason I got into adult fantasy. Because I feel like before that, I was reading a lot of like high fantasy, like Dune, or like young adult fantasy, like Harry Potter. Nothing that had like spicy romance, adult overlap of fantasy. Jennifer Armentrout with her Flesh and Fire series changed my life. I'm not even kidding, she changed my life. I already only read fantasy, but now I only want to read spicy fantasy. Anyways, this is her brand new book, brand new series. I'm so excited for this. Long ago, the world was destroyed by gods. She always has some sort of like gods and goddesses in her book, which I love. Sarah J. Maas has a lot of like fae and magic that way. Jennifer Armentrout is more about like the gods and like higher power type thing. Long ago, the world was destroyed by gods. Only 9 cities were spared. Separated by vast wilderness teeming with monsters and unimaginable dangers, each city is now ruled by a guardian, a royal who feeds on mortal pleasure. Born with an intuition that never fails, Calista knows her talents are of great value to the power-hungry of the world, so she lives hidden as a courtesan of the Baron of Archwood. In exchange for his protection, she grants him information. When her intuition leads her to save a traveling prince in dire trouble, the voice inside her blazes with warning and promise. Today he'll bring her joy, one day he'll be her doom. When the Baron takes an interest in the traveling prince, and the prince takes an interest in Calista, she becomes the prince's temporary companion. But the city simmers with rebellion, and with knights and monsters at her city gates and a hungry prince in her bed, intuition may not be enough to keep her safe. Calista must choose, follow her intuition to safety or follow her heart to her downfall. I cannot wait to read that. These 4 books are what I got at Indigo this weekend. We'll start off with this one. This is Fairy Tale by Stephen King. My boyfriend is actually reading this one right now. He actually picked this one out for himself, but I will end up reading this eventually. This is technically a horror novel from my understanding. It's like horror fantasy, but I don't think it's actually like scary. I don't know. He's not much for horror, so we'll see. But basically, this is about this 17-year-old boy, Charlie. He finds this dog. The dog's owner is this old man. He lives with them, and then in the old man's shed, once the old man dies, the boy finds, what did they say? He finds a portal to another world. And that's basically all it gives you. I really like the cover of it. It's not like I'm trapped reading Throne of Glass still. I'm currently in the tandem read phase, which I love, and I'm glad I did the tandem read, but it's a lot of goddamn pages, and I find it a little bit slow, and there's no spice at all in Throne of Glass. So I'm hoping Crescent City is more like A Court of Silver Flames, because A Court of Silver Flames is my favorite Sarah J. Maas book. I'm not gonna lie, it is my favorite one. I can't stop thinking about it. I think about Cassian every day. And I keep seeing things about Bryce, and Bryce is the main character in this book, the girl, and she seems like kind of a badass, and she seems kind of spicy. So I'm hoping this has some spice in it. This is so big. This is so thick. Half fae, half human, Bryce Quinlan loves her life. Every night is a party, and Bryce is going to savor all the pleasures Lunathion, also known as Crescent City, has to offer. But then a brutal murder shakes the very foundations of the city, and Bryce's world comes crashing down. 2 years later, Bryce still haunts the city's most notorious nightclubs, seeking only oblivion now, trying to put the past behind her. When the murder attacks again in an infamous fallen angel, Hunt Athalar? God, these fantasy names really get me. They really humble me. Hunt Athalar. Hunt is also a sick name. Bryson Hunt? Hot. Is assigned to watch her every footstep. Bryce knows she can't forget any longer. As Bryce and Hunt fight to unravel the mystery, the threads they tug ripple through the underbelly of the city, across wearing continents, and down to the deepest levels of hell, where things that have been sleeping for millennia are beginning to stir. This sounds very cool, and I like that Crescent City is more of a modern day set thing. Like they talk about like nightclubs and everything, so I'm very interested to give this one a read. I've heard the world building is kind of a lot, but if I read Dune and Lord of the Rings as a kid, I think I can handle this. Next up, I have 2 vampire books, so perfect for fall. The first one is King of Battle and Blood. I also really don't know how to say this name. Isolde. All I hear is Isildur from Lord of the Rings. Every time I say Isolde, it just sounds like I'm trying to say Isildur. Isolde sounds weird. I'm gonna say Isolde. Please let me know if I'm wrong. Isolde de Lara considers her wedding day to be her death day. To end a years-long war and protect the people of her kingdom, she is to marry the vampire king, Adrian Alexander Vasiliev, and kill him. But her assassination attempt is thwarted, and Adrian warns that if Isolde tries to kill him again, he will raise her as the undead. Faced with the possibility of becoming the thing she hates most, Isolde seeks other ways to defy him and survive the violence and political machinations of Adrian's brutal vampire court. Except it isn't the court she ends up fearing the most. It's Adrian and her intense attraction to him. Very enemies to lovers, she tried to kill him. Wrapped in mystery in the past he refuses to discuss, Adrian nevertheless starts to become less of a monster to Isolde. Despite their undeniable chemistry, Isolde can't help but wonder why the king, fierce, complicated, ambitious, and at times inexplicably tender, chose her as consort. The answer will shatter her world. So hopefully there's like a twist or something, I don't know. I'm a little bit worried about this one. I've never read another Scarlett St. Clair book before, so I don't know how her writing is, but I find sometimes when a book is fantasy romance and there's too much romance, not enough world building, character building, fantasy elements, I hate it. I'm kind of worried about that with this one because it is smaller, and I do notice with smaller fantasy romance books, they're very romance heavy, and I need a good balance. And finally, this book I have been dying to get my hands on and might be up next when I'm done Throne of Glass. I don't know, I've just really been wanting to read it, and I feel like fall will be the perfect time. And that is Serpent and the Wings of Night. Everyone tells me to read this. Everyone says I'm gonna love it. This is the first of 2 books in the Crown of Nyaxia novels. It's basically about a human girl who's in this competition with a bunch of vampires. So it's very Throne of Glass in that sense. The adopted human daughter of the Nightborn vampire king, Araya, carved her place in a world designed to kill her. Her only chance to become something more than prey is entering the Kajari, a legendary tournament held by the goddess of death herself. But winning won't be easy against the most vicious warriors from all 3 vampire houses. To survive, Araya is forced to make an alliance with a mysterious rival. Everything about Rain is dangerous. He's a ruthless vampire, an efficient killer, an enemy to her father's crown, and her greatest competition. Yet what terrifies Araya most of all is that she finds herself oddly drawn to him. But there's no room for compassion in the Kajari. War for the throne of the House of Night brews, shattering everything that Araya thought she knew about her home. And Rain may understand her more than anyone, but their blossoming attraction could be her downfall, in a kingdom where nothing is more deadly than love. I am so excited to read this, but I also really want to read Fall of Ruin and Wrath next. I don't know what to do. Also, one of my favorite things about this hardcover, my jaw dropped. I love when hardcover books have something under this, because this is so why do books even have this? Does it like cost more to print on the cover or something? Because this shit annoys me so much. I wish hardcover books didn't even have this. I wish they just came like this. Let me know which book you guys think I should read first once I'm done Throne of Glass. I'm currently cleaning up my office a little bit because it's a tiny bit messy at the moment. And I also realized, why do I not decorate my office for fall? I am in here so often. Why am I not surrounding myself with the fall vibes in here? Now I have an excuse to go buy more fall decor because I don't have that much left. I mean, I have this guy, but I keep him out year round. This is not a Halloween decoration. This is a year round decoration. So he hangs out with me. I have a whole ass dresser. Why am I not decorating this entire dresser for Halloween? Like what am I doing? Let me show you what I have left. I also need to wait for Spirit Halloween to open because I definitely want to go there. This is it. This is all I have left from my Halloween decor. Wait, those could maybe go in one of those vases.
You're up in the sky, I'll carry you home, home to the mountaineers. And soon, my friend, you'll see them again, the ones you left behind, the ones you left behind. And I'll sing for you all the way home. But why does it feel like home isn't home? I've been in this war too long. It's in the air that I breathe, oh, it's in the trees. It shivers down my spine. It shivers down my spine. I just sing my song as I walk through the gate. And there she stands just like before, but she doesn't look the same. The fear in her eyes, I've seen it before, and she can't recall my name. No, she can't recall my name. And so I sing to her as I fall on. A shimmering light as I hit the ground. Her lover had a gun. Now it's you that I see, home of the brave. Oh, how you bother me. Oh, the things you let me see. But still I sing for you my last song.
Why, you may ask, am I reading 2 books at once? Well, the short answer is I'm crazy. If you count the novellas at the beginning, which is The Assassin's Blade, then this is the 6th book in Throne of Glass, and this is the 7th book. But most people tandem read these 2. At least most people that I've seen, most people I follow. There's a bunch of reading guides online. I have an entire Google Drive with like a checklist of what order to read the chapters in. So I go back and forth reading these 2 and I follow a guide. But basically you read these at the same time because they happen at the same time. They just happen in 2 different places. So this one's happening on the northern continent. This one's happening on the southern continent, and they involve different characters. So the lead up to these 2 books, there's a whole bunch of different characters. You're getting a whole bunch of different perspectives, and then they separate, and then you're following both characters' stories in here. So you don't have to read them at the same time. I definitely recommend it though. I personally can't imagine reading these 2 separate. I'm enjoying the back and forth between the 2 different continents. And I think when I'm done these 2 at the same time, it'll be so much easier going into the next book versus having to kind of like rewind and then read the next book in the series and go through that same time period. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you in my next spooky log.